Oh, no.
Okay, so we're rolling. It is July 25th at 10 a.m. in the morning, our usual entrepreneur endeavor education hour. And I'm here with Lou, and we're assuming some other people will pop in pretty soon. This is the last lesson, I guess you could call it, course in a series on social media savvy. And so we're going to roll since it's 10. Hey, Esther. I am thrilled, I'll go ahead and start out with me. I'm just thrilled to be back from traveling. I did a graduation tour of Oxford and of Stockholm, Sweden. Didn't really go throughout the whole country. I know a lot of people really love to do that, but I'm content to just stay in one place and kind of branch out from there. Had a wonderful, wonderful time. Used frequent flyer miles and stayed with people and stayed in a dormitory and in a B&B that was a little bit questionable to save some money, but got this trip done and really enjoyed myself. I missed NACWE and NACWE's sisterhood and the connection and the creation and the collaboration that we all have together immensely. It just felt like I was there with something, a part of me missing, an appendage missing or something like that. So I'm really grateful to be back. More than that, I'm grateful to Lou especially, and to so many other people on the NACWE team that just kept things going and kept things afloat while I was gone. It's just a testimony, I think, to who we are as NACWE sisters and the collaboration that we have together and that sort of thing. So I was able to watch Courtney's presentation while I was there and just was blown away. I still have to watch Sylvia's, and so I'm anxious for Lou's today. And this has been a team effort. She's gotten information from so many different people. How much I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So mute yourselves so that you don't make noise. Keep your video on so that we can see your beautiful faces. We're going to pray and obey moving forward. Let me pray for us really quickly. Father God, we're so grateful to be called your daughters. We're so grateful for, even though we can not even humanly comprehend the wonder of all that you are for us, we are so grateful for your love and your care about us. And we know that if you care about the number of hairs on our head, then you care about every detail of our entrepreneurship, of our businesses, our ministries, our home lives as well. And we thank you for that, Lord. And we submit to you every detail of these areas of our lives and pray that in obedience we will serve you and please you. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Real quickly, again, every Tuesday, the first Tuesday is open to everybody. We're going to keep it that way for a while. The second, third, and fourth, and sometimes the fifth Tuesdays are only open to members, so we're glad to have you here. We've been doing studies on your online presence in May, June, and July. This is the end of it. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, it took me to new levels in my work. Every week I learned something new. So I appreciate that. At the end, we'll try to do a little networking. Sometimes we have so many questions about the content of the session that we don't get to do that. But if we do, you want to be prepared to enter your name, your location, and your Facebook page or somewhere we can find you and do kind of little 30-second commercial for yourself. An aside, a story. We love stories. When I was young, we listened to Lily Tomlin. Here comes Anita. She's going to love this part of it. When I was young, we listened to Lily Tomlin all the time do the old lady who was an operator, and she did the little 5.5-year-old Edith Ann. Hi, my name is Edith Ann, and I'm 5.5 years old. Hey, Mel. Hey, Nita. So we listened to her all the time, and we just laughed and had the most hilarious times listening to her. And one of the things she said, there's a whole monologue. It takes about an hour to get through, where she, the little 5.5-year-old, Melanie, put yourself on mute, where she, the little 5.5-year-old, is walking along the streets, introducing herself to a brand new neighbor, a lady. And of course, she's driving the lady totally bananas. And while she's walking, she says to her, hey, lady, do you think God is watching us? And the lady was like, well, I don't know. I guess I really never thought of it. And she said, I do. I think God is watching us. And she said, whenever I think God is watching me, I always sing and dance and do a little commercial for myself. So that's what we're asking you to do. I'm not sure about the singing and dancing portion, but we're asking you to take a few seconds, a minute, and do a little commercial for yourself. The more we know about you, the more we can connect, create, and collaborate. So that's my Edith Ann story. I have a million of them. Be prepared. Coming up, we're planning, even as we speak, the Regional Connect seminars in September. We're going to be in Colorado and Missouri, and we think we might be in Oklahoma. Pam Wessel, take note, and others in Oklahoma. In October, we're going to be in the Alabama area, and we may stop on the way there and stop on the way back. So let's connect about that. And then in November or December, we're going to do a Texas Live sort of holiday celebration venue for everyone as well. We have tons of writing adventures going on that you can be a part of. The collaborative devotional book, Walk of Faith, is on its way to being done within a month. So she's got all her authors lined up. It's the most exciting thing. She's done it. Barbara's done a great job. So watch that. We'll have her give updates as often as we can. And then we're going to pick another writing venture that you can join in with us on. And we're thinking it'll be about leadership, legacy, and your business story based on some of the experiences we had at the conference. So stay tuned for that. We're also thinking of doing a writing retreat in November. We'll try to do it live here at the Lake House and for a certain number of people, and we'll also do it live, virtually live, for others who want to join in and can't make it all the way to Texas or all the way to East Texas as well. So put March sort of on your tentative calendar. We'll solidify that real soon for the conference for next year. And there may be, I don't have it written in here, but there may be a mission trip to Guatemala in 2018 as well. So we'll talk more about that. In August, we're getting ready to talk about branding. Janie Owen Bew, one of our members, and I will talk for a few weeks there about branding. And then at the end of August, we have a 5th Tuesday, and we love to do really crazy and out-of-the-box things on the 5th Tuesday, so it's a big surprise. I will tell you that you'll be hearing from Kimberly Del Coco that week. So look for that. Let me get rid of this share screen and start. Lou on her way. Not sure if I really needed to shut that down, but I did it. Okay, so today we're going to hear from Lou and all the people behind the scenes who've been coaching her and teaching her some things about social media analytics. So important, right? I mean, none of us, we don't want to talk about money, and we really don't want to talk about numbers that often unless they're huge and we love them. But we've got to. I mean, you've got to know eventually how to reach your people and if you're reaching them at all. And so, Lou, we're going to turn this over to you. I'm going to mute me and let you fly solo. Now I'm sharing the screen, so you're going to have to tell me when to do slides. Great.
And if you'll just make it full screen for the PowerPoint.
I will.
Because some of the pictures they're kind of fun to see.
Usually I know how to, here we go.
You've been on vacation. You've forgotten everything.
No more trips. Here we go. From the beginning.
Yeah.
Let me know if this works right to you.
Perfect.
Right. Okay.
That's good. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hearing.
All right. So, so we've been talking about social media and online presence for 3 months now. So how do you know if it's working? So how do you know if, what's good, what's not good, if you're not measuring things and you're not really tracking your reach and the engagement, then you're missing a lot of insights that can tell you what people like, what people want more of, what's valuable, what's shareable. And that tells you, wow, I need to kind of redo my strategy. So we're going to look at this hour basically at just, how do we know it's working, and how do you measure and track, and what are the tools and resources available to help you do that. If you go to the next slide. Oh my gosh, an unsuspecting presenter. That's me. Hi, I'm Lou. I'm in HR. I'm not in marketing. I probably shouldn't be giving a social media presentation, but wait, actually I should be. We go to the next slide. Let me tell you about my background. I worked in HR and operations for a very long time, and one of the big roles that I had in my job was people analytics. So I'll go back one, yep. People analytics was measuring engagement, measuring turnover, measuring people's will and desire to stay with your company and do great work. And so there's a lot of work that goes in, a lot of numbers that go into those metrics. And so when they first gave it to me, who, again, I'm super creative, super, probably I am analytical. I didn't know I was analytical, but I didn't know how to use tools. I didn't know how to use data to help me tell stories. And so I learned when I was doing all this HR work was the data is there to support you and paint a much clearer picture without assumptions and estimates and guesses and personalities and all the noise that gets in our human way for making good decisions and really seeing a clear picture. So go to the next slide, Karen. Whether it's social media analytics or it's HR analytics, it's all about people. And it's really, people analytics, we measure engagement, we measure how people interact. Are they sharing the love or are they sharing the hate? Are they, talking great about the company or are they not talking great? They're measuring turnover, people that leave, people that boomerangs that come back, people that, that come in for higher rates. We measure what works, what doesn't, and how do we keep them? How do we keep great people? It's the same thing on social media analytics. Engagement becomes the likes. How many times do people like what you're saying, share it, talk about it? Are they commenting on it? Wait, have they become the haters? Have they unliked your page? Have they unliked and unfollowed you? And what caused that? Do they promote you? What works, what doesn't, and what keeps your social media audience? Because those are your fans. Those are the people that promote your brand. So it's kind of two peas in a pod, and because we're in silos and we think that's marketing and that's HR, they're not the same. But actually, there's a lot of similarities and a lot of the same techniques. Go to the next slide. So when we say it's all about your people, you have to know who are your people so you can measure it. What makes them engage and stay engaged? And then once you know what those things are, how can you do more of it? And then how do you measure it? How do you know you're successful? And then how, when you're measuring it and you're looking at those results, can you adapt your strategies to that audience and what works and what doesn't? So really understanding and leveraging analytics can actually help you with answering all of these questions. So let's go to the next slide. There's a lot of lingo with social media. It changes daily, and it's, the language changes from a new application, a new website, and suddenly that's become a verb. Tweeting, and you know what I mean? That's like, what is that? That's nothing. It's just a word, but suddenly we all speak it. So when you talk about, social media, there's a lot of language that you learn. I found a great website, and we worked with this vendor before. It's called Sprout Social, and they just have great blog posts. It's a great resource if you want to research, what does this mean? Like, I keep seeing this, how do I, what? So you can go to sproutsocial.com and just find all kinds of articles, but they have a list of 75 social media acronyms that you'll hear the most. And, it's acronyms and nouns. But the big ones for this presentation are really, what is a click-through rate? It's this measure that represents the number of times a visitor clicks through, and then that number is actually divided by the total number of impressions. So that sounds like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? I don't know that. Basically, did someone click on your link and go all the way through to either your web page or download a form, Did they go all the way? The click-through rate you want to just measure, and you'll get that on your analytics reports through your different websites, is, you know, that percentage, and you want to just keep an eye on that. You want to measure that rate. The conversion rate is actually when they get to do they go do the action? Do they go to your website, sign up for your class? Do they download your ebook or your white paper? Do they sign up for a class? Your engagement rate, it just describes the amount of interactions, likes, shares, and the pieces of content that people, you know, actively click on and interact upon. Impressions, it's the number of times your content's displayed. So when you're scrolling in your social media, your eye is catching stuff, and you may not click on it, but you'll see these different, you know, suggested posts, you know, or you know, it'll be a boosted post, and you'll see it as you scroll through. You may not stop on it, but they actually measure when you kind of scroll up and scroll back down that impression. And then the reach is the number of people who see your content. So that's back in that number. So that they're able to do behind the scenes, which I don't understand because I'm not like brilliant super nerd that I wish I was. But you know, they're writing algorithms, and they're doing all this work behind the scenes that tracks your behaviors, tracks our human behaviors to tell us how many people were reached with this. Did we miss it completely? And they also help, you know, as you boost, you can, I didn't even go into boost on this, but that's okay. You can go to the next one. But basically, as you boost a post, you can target your audiences, but those are the ones you have to pay for. So there's a big, you know, in Courtney's presentation, she said there's a difference between tracking and measuring. And I was like, what? Because, and really, as I researched and I talked with several big companies, people who work there in several really large organizations, they use this word tracking, monitoring, measuring very much interchangeably, but they do mean different things. So tracking and monitor is really something you just keep an eye on. It's something you're monitoring as it's happening. So growth, new people added, best times for engagement, likes, comments, shares, and mentions. Those are the things you just want to keep an eye on those things going. But you measure these sort of bigger ticket items, which are like, you can measure benchmarking to competitors. So say you've got a company that does flowers, we'll say flowers, okay, a florist. And, you know, you want to say, okay, I want to watch, you know, these 5 florists in my city, or you can track up to, you know, a couple of competitors to see how do their interactions versus your interactions size up. And you can study your competitors to say, wow, that's really working for them. You can also measure your click-throughs. How many people go all the way through? How many convert and actually download and go to your website and sign up for something? And then you also measure your own websites or your fan page full metrics. You want to measure those. How often? Some people do it every day. Some people do it every week. Some people do it once a month. Some people do it once a quarter. It depends on your business. You're going to drive yourself crazy if you go do it every day, because you're going to be like, oh no, nobody liked me today, right? But you know, you want to keep an eye on it. So if we go to the next slide. There's multiple pages. So I want to just, on all the big players, all the big social media platforms, and I didn't list all of them, but I listed quite a few. They have their own analytics tools for you, which are fantastic, actually. 5 years ago, these didn't exist, okay? And they change all the time. They change every year, every month. There's a new update. You know, they'll add new things, because this is something that you used to have to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to a marketing firm to come in and do your analytics. And what they've done now is they've put the analytics in front of the little guys, and they've put it in a way that's very easy to use And what does that do? It creates engagement with that brand, with that platform, because you're getting tools and results to help you see live. Hi, Latita. Hi, Lottie. You can see your work right now. So Facebook Analytics, great one. They've got this, an overview. It shows you, you can click on each one of these headers: overview, likes, reach, visits, posts, people. But this is like a little dashboard. Each page has a dashboard. Go to the next one. Same thing, Instagram, same kind of dashboard. It's at a glance to say, wow, so why do all these people from London follow me all of a sudden, and you can say, what have I done? What's there? It can teach you a couple of things. Did I promote something there, or has my content been really something that was, hit the mark over in this other country, and so seeing things like demographics, new followers, top locations, times of day, just having that little glimpse at this dashboard helps you see how you make decisions of when you're going to post, what you're going to post, and who you're going to target. You go to the next slide. Pinterest also has an analytics page. I didn't go in depth on all of them. I'm going to go into Facebook because I think that that's one that we use the most. And talking with other small businesses and larger businesses, that's the platform right now. That's where the money is. That's where the clients come from. So, but again, Pinterest will show you your impressions, your unique views. It'll also tell you down at the bottom, repins, clicks, likes, etc. So go to the next one. Twitter, same thing. If you were on the call last week, Sylvia kind of said Twitter's dying. Twitter still has a bazillion followers. It's not as easy to tell your story in 140 characters to sell something. So it's one that you go out if you've got a little sound bite and you got to link them back to something, but put your money probably in another platform. Next slide. Go back one. So LinkedIn analytics, this one just made me like giddy when I was studying this. So LinkedIn has the same, how many people viewed your page, and you can have two accounts with LinkedIn. You can have a personal account that's like just for you, and you can have a business account. And analytics are a little bit different for each one, but it's pretty. But what I love about this is it tells you, upfront page views, shares, it'll tell you all of that. But if you look on the right here, it shows you who your demographic is. And that's juicy stuff, because on Facebook, it's just men and women, age, and location. On LinkedIn, it will tell you what's their seniority. Are they owner, executive, entry-level, manager? They'll tell you industry. What industry is this person? So suddenly you've got, I do culture, and suddenly I've got, pharmaceutical people all following my posts. All of a sudden I'm like, why are they here? Because I'm thinking hotels, restaurants, but, so seeing the industry is very enlightening. Then their function, like what role, operations, marketing, HR, for example. What region, what's the company size? So wow, that'll tell you from a client perspective, wow, I've always gone after these smaller companies that are, 5 to 25 people, but wow, this company's got 100 to 1,000. What's that going to do for my business? And so you can target your things once you see this analytics. I don't remember what the employee was, but, the employee number, how many people? Oh, that's company size. I don't know. I don't remember that, but company size was the one that I was in, and function and industry were super insightful. Okay, next slide. So I said we'd come back to Facebook. I watched a video, and I've posted the link at the very bottom. This guy does a quick 11-minute Facebook analytics tour, which is probably one of the best videos I've seen. Normally these guys kind of will ramble on and get super techie. This guy has a really good link, but I took screenshots from his presentation and loaded, put the live link at the bottom of the presentation, so you can go back and watch it if you really want to zoom in more. So let's look at Facebook's analytics real quick. Get to the next slide. Yep. So when you log into Facebook and you go to your page, you know, there's this link admin panel, and that's going to show you kind of the basic, quick overview. So it'll show you your most recent post. If you want to post, they want you to boost. If you want to promote it, it'll, quick number, 23,000 people just saw this page. Go to the next picture. It's divided out by 4 insights. So there's an overview that's just kind of the dashboard. There's your page insights, there's your post insights, and then there's your people insights. So if you look on the, and each one of these, you basically click on a number, and there's a little draw, it kind of pops out another window, and you can look a little deeper into those metrics. You go to the next slide. And I didn't do the whole video because I'm showing you the video, but there were highlights. So for today, total page likes as of today, you have 15,000. Over here on the right, you'll see this benchmark. And the benchmark is on every page, and that's how you compare yourself over time. How'd you do last year? You can change the date. So if you go up just a little, from benchmark, you'll see date ranges. So you can look, a specific date and time. Now go to the next slide. Oh, I did want to, can I go back one? I just wanted to show one thing. Up at the very top in the right corner, it says export data. You can actually export all of this data too, which is fabulous. So if you're trying to compile a story or presentation, or you don't always have to go to this and it's web-based. So I don't want to export anymore because I used to export all the time when I was doing engagement surveys. I'm like, I love this fancy clean dashboard that tells me all the story I know, but sometimes you got to dig and churn through some data. So go to the next slide. Net likes, what changed? So this will measure kind of likes, unlikes, paid likes, net likes. Organic likes are the ones that are just naturally, people they just liked it, right? And you didn't boost it, you didn't do anything to sort of trigger more awareness to your page. But then you also look at unlikes. So what was your content that day or that period that actually people checked out, people disengaged completely and unliked something? That's on your page. Go to the next slide. Where did your likes come from? So were the likes, was it through a page suggestion? Were they posts from other people? Did people share your article and then suddenly you're like, I'm gonna like that page? So that'll measure that sharing and where it came from, and it could show you where you boosted up really high and where you didn't. So go on to the next slide. This is measuring your post reach. So this is measuring the number of people that saw your post, and it'll show you organic versus page. So you can see, you've got some pretty big lifts and drops in the graph during that period. And you can see one of those, you did a paid boost to help you reach, but then you had a pretty big drop off. So ideally you pay for a boost and then you get a little lift for a little longer. So what were your activities at that time? What were your posts that time? Did you just boost it and then go, yeah, okay, good, I boosted it, and you didn't do anything to kind of keep that momentum going? Did you post a video? Did you tell a great status? Did you, so when you do one of these posts, you don't just post it and say, yeah, done. You have to go, okay, I'm about to get a lot of traffic. What do I want to say to keep the momentum up? That's what these graphs are good at. Next picture. This shows you your likes, comments, and shares. And these actually help you reach more people. These just show you what were people, and you can zoom in on the chart in the live. You can actually zoom into these peaks and these valleys to say, what was I sharing here? What was it? What was the thing? And you start to get this picture of people really like this. This is the stuff that moves the mark. Next slide. Hides, reported, spam, and unlike. So these are your disengagers. These are the people that are like, I'm so done with this website. I'm hiding this person. I'm hiding this, too political or too crazy or too, just, or inappropriate language or, and these are the things that, we're not going to do that, ladies. Let's just be clear. But, there are things that we do that we're like, if it's not valuable or if it's not adding value, people will disconnect from it. And so what were those things as you go back and you look at, followers, and say your followers dropped from 12,000 to 11,500. So you lost 500 people. What were those things that you were posting then that disengaged them? And so find those things and then create a strategy around, okay, I still want to say this message, but I got to say it a different way. Yeah. It's still part of my platform or whatever. Okay. And then over on the right where it says benchmark, again, each one of these pages has a benchmark so you can compare yourself over time. Then next slide, please. Total reach, again, same thing. I think that was a duplicate. Sorry, you can go to the next slide. This one shows you times, which everyone always says, when's the best time to time? It's going to vary depending on your audience. I look at Melanie and, you're a mom and you've got lots of mom conversations. So, 10 o'clock in the morning may not be the best time for you, but, 6:30 in the morning might be a good time, when you're getting up before anyone else, and you're having quiet time and you want to go out or so. It'll just depend. And so this graph here, you just run your little cursor across this valley and it'll tell you how many vans were online at that time. And then you can again run that cursor across when was your peak. And so at the end of the day, you'll get these times during the day when is the best time to post. So maybe 10 a.m., maybe 1 p.m., and then it usually drops down dinner time and it'll pick back up around 8 or 9. That's what this shows, but that's kind of an average as well. Next slide. This is the best post type. So this is another big, people say the best posts are pictures, or the best posts are videos, and yeah, people will watch them, but what you want to look at on this chart is you've got your average reach in the middle. So the average reach on the status is actually 4.2 thousand. This is for this guy, right? Yours is going to be different. We're going to have different data. And your average engagement, so you've got post clicks and then likes and comments, you had 29. But if you look at the photos, it's got 2.7 thousand in reach, and you had 444 people that clicked it, and you got 54 likes and comments. So photos definitely are good, but they go back to reach and say, yeah, but your reach was bigger on a status. So you've got to balance, don't think just because this is way over here and everyone likes the photo, did it go further? Did it reach more people? It may not have. And so you just have to balance what's your strategy going to be on those things. So your links are going to, people will click through. But usually if you just do a link with no status, it's not the same power. That doesn't show here. But you get, when I was talking to my colleague, she was telling me, she's like, a link with a status is even better. Again, photos and videos. People like videos, but people don't want to watch videos all the time. So you're going to get that sort of one that'll catch your eye, but a great status that makes you think, you're like, okay, I'm on it. Next slide, please. This is the people page, which I love, which this is all demographics on, who's your audience, who's looking at this, who are your people. So it'll tell you the percentage of fans. It'll and it also compares, so your fans, so it's your fans at 45%, and all Facebook is 46% female. And then men is 53 for you. And so you're really right on par with the average on Facebook. That'll depend on your page. You know, this guy's a guy that, you know, does social media expertise. So he's going to have a different demographic. If you go to the next slide, this one shows you that you can click on any one of the blue boxes. If you look at the very bottom where it says 62 and there's an arrow, basically clicked on that 62% bar, and then it tells you that's 2.4%, 2.4 times compared to your fans. So you've who you've engaged, the percentage that they are of your fans. And then also, you know, is that 1% or 1 times compared to fans? Is it 2 times? Wow, 50% of the people that clicked on that were not fans, or they were fans. So you can read the data that way, and it just tells you how would you adjust your post knowing this information, you know? And for us as entrepreneurs, as women, it might be, you know, age range. It may be, and so how do I adapt my language? How do I adapt my pictures? You know, it's going to differ based on the demographic. So go to the next slide. I think that's one we just have to skip. Yeah, skip that. So all that to say, so we were in Facebook, and we were just on Facebook's page, and that's, again, very robust analytics just from one platform. And you could say, wow, I don't need to do anything else. But I do a little bit on Instagram, and I do a little bit on Pinterest. And it depends. If you are one of the people like me that's kind of a new entrepreneur, I don't have a really big business yet, and you do the majority of your social media on one platform, leverage that platform. So don't go buy some tool to help you manage all these other platforms if you're not really using them. However, if you're on multiple platforms, how do you compile all that data from all these multiple platforms into a one clear picture? That's going to be hard. That's where you start churning through data. When I was doing expense reports, engagement reports, I was doing them manually through social media, and I had all these countries, not through social media, through SurveyMonkey. And I had all these countries, and I would have to like try to compile this data into create these stories. Now it's you know, everything's available. But when you've got different platforms, you've got to figure out where's the story in this, because that's what you really want. What's the clear stories? So if you are using multiple platforms, leverage your social media planner tools. Courtney and Sylvia both talked about Buffer and Hootsuite. They have great analytics, and they do the compilation. And so they'll tell you what's your reach, what's your click-through rate, but they've compiled it from all of those other platforms. So you don't have to do the heavy lifting. I suggest if you're in that boat and you've got multiple platforms, leverage that, pay for it, because the hours that you would spend doing it manually and not messing it up would be very beneficial. If you get bigger, if you get even bigger, if your brand gets bigger, or you get a big boost, and you're like, I'm spending way too much time trying to pay for a service, get a team. There are big companies that do the social media analytics for you, and then there's little ones, you know. Leverage those people. They provide you a report at the end of the month, and usually that report, it'll show that same data, but it'll also give you action items. So you don't have to come up with the action items. They present it to you, and then you can make your decision. So it's just one of those things that you think through as your business grows. You adapt and leverage experts. The other thing to know is this stuff is changing by the minute. Like, you know, I mean, I was looking at some of the images of analytics, you know, and they were 2013. I'm like, I don't even know if that's a valid thing we measure anymore, you know, because we've added new language, we've added new data, we've added new tools. So when you go out and you research social media tools, or you want to learn more, I would say look at anything that's within the last 2 years. Anything that's earlier, don't look at it, because it's probably out of date. It's probably, you know, definitely been updated, and it's probably a lot faster and swifter now. So just be aware of, you know, if you work in a silo with just one brand, that's okay if you're that size of business. But once you start adding all these others, definitely beware of silos, and beware of thinking things haven't changed, because they have. Next slide, please. So all this to say, I mean, I'm kind of wrapping up a little bit. I'm getting closer. 10 tips for social success. This is what everyone has told me. Sylvia said it. Courtney said it. My colleagues said it. Before you start on this, don't just go, I need to go get a Facebook page. What's your goal? And what are goals you're going to set for analytics? And what are the objectives you want? So do you want to get 100 new followers? That's a good goal, because you can measure that. What do you want to track, and why? You know, looking at data and not understanding what you were looking for in the first place can be very frustrating. And it's kind of like, oh, how cute, I've got 20 new followers. But you don't know, was that a goal? Did I hit it? Is that good? Is that bad? And then set those measurable goals, and then keep score on yourself. Don't score yourself every day. It's like a diet. Don't get on the scale every day. You want to get on once a month, you know, and see, like, how did you do that month? Because when you zoom out and you see the big picture, it really helps you create a better strategy. You have to ask yourself, how long is it going to take me to reach these goals? How much time do I need to commit active? How much time do I need to give it to reach the goal, right? So there's kind of 2 times. Make a dashboard, these have dashboards, but make your own dashboard of a goal setting wall of, you know, I've got 22 followers right now, and I want to get to 122, you know, and then you just keep that score in that dashboard to show you, where am I, how much closer am I getting? You want to really monitor this, you know, themes and content that get the most interactions and get the most activity. That's the stuff you want. And go, you know, how do I create more of that and keep it balanced? You want to watch your influencers. Who's interacting? Who's responding? I love this story. Years ago, I saw executives from Applebee's present a case study, and they talked about they had been really beat up on social media by some like late night gamers, and they just, you know, people were just talking so much smack about them. And what happened was they created this, you know, why we're asking them, follow us, like our burger, do this for us, do this for us. We're doing all this for them on social media. What if we just liked them? Or what if we followed them? And so they created this campaign called Applebee's Followed Me. And I mean, it had t-shirts, and it was brilliant, because instead of, you come to me and like my page, come and like my page, it was like anytime someone liked their page, they went back to that person and followed them, and then would like their likes and like comment on it, you know. And so you're sitting here like, Applebee's just commented on my post, you know, which was huge. But it was like the soul of social media. That's what this is all about. It's about that interaction and friendship and alliances, and we're together in this. And I think that was brilliant. So when I think about, you know, who are your influencers and how are they interacting, respond to them and like them and follow them. And that's a big deal, because that says you're not just taking from me, you're giving, you know, and you see me and you care about me, which is a big deal in business. Review your results on your analytics, you know, filter them multiple ways. There are sometimes surprises, you know, things like, don't just look at all these likes, but go back in and go, what were the, as you look at your results, like, okay, all these hits were really big, but they all had a puppy in them, or they all had a kid in them, or all they had you know, a funny, you know, me making a funny face, you know, what are those things that, you know, you thought, oh, I thought it was going to be this great article over here that was going to get all the likes, but it's really this me being super authentic and real that got all the likes. And then you've set a goal, when you kind of, your first quarterly goal or your monthly goal, up the ante every month, up the ante, you know, I want to get to 122 followers. Okay, let's make it 222, you know, and just keep that going. That's how you do it. Should you like your own posts? I think sometimes it's funny, you know. Should you do it all the time? No, because there's this kind of like eye roll effect. You're like, oh gosh, of course she likes our post. She just posted it. But that's a good question, Judy. Um, I sometimes though you're like cracking yourself up or like that's just too good and you gotta like it, and that's good because that's that authenticity thing. Create an actual report for yourself and your team every quarter. Okay, so we don't do that, and we're little entrepreneurs. That's why we're entrepreneurs, so we don't have to write reports. But for a social media, you should write a report for yourself, because in a year you go back and look at that and go, where did we come from? What did we do? You know, and then always, always, always remember to go back and refer to your original objectives. It's so easy to get lost in the noise and the hoopla of all this activity. But when you go back and you go, what were we trying to achieve in all of this? I forgot. And so that's the important thing, to go back and even, and especially when things aren't going well, you know, to go, okay, if they're not really going, are we doing the objectives? And sometimes you just got to adapt your objectives and go, maybe this just isn't the right way to do this, and we need to create a new strategy. So go to the next slide. I'm trying to zip it up real fast. So how might having all these insights help you? How would these help you define your target audience and strategy? You know, how would these insights help you to like set your time, the time you need to invest actively in this, and also set your timing strategy of how long it's going to take for you to reach the goal? How might these insights help you determine your media strategy? You know, photo, video, status update, links. How might these insights help you adapt your approach based on these metrics? Not just engagement, but actual click-throughs to clients. You know, it's all great and fun when everyone likes us, but if we haven't earned a client and no one's downloaded our important information, it's not really working. So use those metrics to help you. And then how might these insights help you set and reach goals every quarter, every month, to create a longer winning plan? So think through those questions, because I think those are, I used to be scared of data. I hated data. I hate numbers. I hate math, you know. But when I realized the data is there to help you, number one, tell the story, but it also helps you create a great strategy for what works and what doesn't, and how to engage this is the new business world through the social media. If you go to the next slide. I love this. Okay, so in my old job, we had a social war room, and when they built it, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in Star Trek. It was amazing. So right now, today, you may be just like this girl who just pulls up her little pad and, you know, looks up the her Facebook analytics or her Instagram analytics. You've got everything there, and it's really easy. But as you grow, it could become like you need a war room. You need a team. And these war rooms, there's these companies like Sprinkler and Sprout who will come in and help you build a war room. When I worked for a, you know, billion-dollar brand, and so we had these, and they were all like, I mean, I think they were 12. I don't know how old these people were that worked in this room. They were babies. And we went in there, and I took all these older executives in there, and they were like, I don't know what they're talking. I don't even understand what language they're speaking, but they could show you these graphs. This is real time. This war room soundboard is real time. All the activities, the people. It shows you the charts, who's talking, what are they saying, what are the most repeated words, what are the favorites, what are the things they don't like. It measures demographics, location, gender, age, a lot of things, but that really helps you have a live conversation with these people. You know, if you want to study one that's really interesting, National Pancake Day from IHOP was a fascinating social media campaign. Just the whole way they did it. If you go back, it's a great case study of how they did it, but they did it through a war room like this, you know, of just constant interactions, great posts, you know, and God made pancakes. And they just had these great promotions that made you fall in love with the brand. But then anytime something was wrong, that team was swooping in saying, we've got a manager who's going to contact you today, you know. Now we're little guys here, but just to think like today we're this little guy, but in 5 years we may need this. In 2 years you may need it. 6 months from now you may need 4 screens, you know, maybe not 12. You know? So just think through, like, there's so much information you can get and so many ways to help you really promote your business. Next slide, please. So don't be like this guy, okay? Set goals and revisit them often. Consult an expert. It's worth the investment. Even if you're starting out, spend an hour with a social media strategist to just help you set up your Facebook, set up your first goals. You don't have to hire this person to stay with you, you know, daily, but like once a month, once every quarter, spend that time to talk with an expert to help you, you know, start to understand your social media. As your business grows, get the support and build the team that you need. Don't keep trying to do it, you know, manually. Leverage full service systems like Sprout and Sprinkler, and there's lots of other brands. Those are just the two that I'm really familiar with. And then don't forget why you're measuring it. You know, why are you measuring all of this? To help you become more successful, but also to connect with your base and your fans. Next slide, please. So this is just a couple of, I told you about the Facebook Analytics Tour. You can go in and watch this video. This PowerPoint, we'll post this later today. There was a good article that I liked called the Social Media Analytics Showdown, which really helped you understand like what's coming, what's about to come, what's out there. And then there's, I liked the article about the social media war room mentality. And this was from the group at McCann's, which is a marketing, they're the ones that talked about the IHOP story and the National Pancake Day. But she talks about the ideas and the mentality of what you're trying to achieve with your social media war room. And so while we may not have a war room, those same principles we can use. So those are just some great articles. I think we should probably keep the conversation going though in the room a little bit as people, you know, maybe we need a tech day when Karen, I don't know. So, and that's it. I'm done. So any questions, comments? Were there any questions in there in the group?
Basically, there's one, there were some conversations earlier we might go back to, but for one, Judy asked, you know, and I'm thinking, let's walk through this. Let's stop sharing this screen if you want to, and share a screen of the NACWE Facebook page if you want to. She had asked, and like literally do this live. She had asked, how do I actually look at a post and see the analytics for that one post? Let me make sure, Judy, that I got your question complete. Let's see. It says, I don't want to go off on some tangent that you didn't ask for, so let me see if I can find it. I'm scrolling through everything. What's a quick way for me to go to a specific post of mine to see what I posted on a specific date? So you want to do that? Let's do that. It would be cool, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so let's go to the NACWE. We'll put NACWE on the spot. Oh, hey, how do I get out of here?
Hit escape.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See all my stuff. I'm a mess. All right. So we're in the NACWE Members Web Facebook page right here. Oops. And I've got all these things in my way. Let me move them around. So if you're, sometimes the analytics buttons are at the top and sometimes they're at the side. So Lou, where are we going here? Well, how do we get to our
Go up.
Files?
You're on your group, not your page.
Yeah, you've got to go back to the.
Okay, so let's go to.
I don't know how it looks on this one, on your.
Okay, real quick, you guys. Am I in the right place now?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll go to Insights. Analytics
Yes,
is called.
Insights.
Hey,
Yeah.
how come it won't let me turn that off? There we go. Insights.
Yep. And then you can see like
we want to do post. Look at a specific post. Post
yeah,
over here
yeah.
to the left on posts.
Yep.
And then let's say I'm looking for the one that you did. What did it start with?
The one on Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it's Friday, lady. It was Friday the 20. I don't know what. Oh, this is the Facebook. This isn't the group.
This is the fan page. We moved over to the fan page.
Yeah, so that's not going to show that. But
okay, so let's just look at real quickly. I said I'm home. Let's look at that.
Yeah.
Here's the post.
Well, where is it? Scroll, close that back.
In my way. Okay, here's the post. Type of post is a status post. No, I'm home. The type of post is a status post.
So it doesn't show reach for some reason. It should say reach, paid, post clicks, reactions, comments. And there should be a graph next to like where it's highlighted. There should be graphing on that. So I don't know.
None of this
is showing any of those. Go back to overview. That's weird. Post engagements, maybe. Go back up.
These are all boosted posts.
Yeah. Go back where it says like post engagements. Click there where it says 82. Just click that. Oh, it's not showing the graph.
Wait a minute, it's thinking.
Okay.
The wheel's turning.
I may have to do a print screen for you, Judy, and like post it out there.
Yeah, we need to do this again if this doesn't work somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if my internet is slowing down or whatever, but you can see that it's thinking about it.
Yeah, but it should show you those graphs just like that last in my print screens for my presentation. It should show a graph with those things. Yeah, it's just
well, while the wheel is turning, let me just say.
Okay.
Thank you, Lou, for doing this. I mean, I have all sorts of ideas whirling around in my brain, and maybe even wanting to look at sprinkler and the sprout thing, as small as we are or might be, just to, because we've asked so many times for a social media strategist and not really found somebody who just literally raised their hand and said, I can walk you through all of this strategy. You may be evolving into our social media strategist as we speak. But anyway, thank you. I appreciate it. And I've got all sorts of ideas. The tab you were just on had the reach number. Esther, if you know what we're doing, you want to pop in and give us a voice-to-voice deal. If you click annotate at the top of Zoom screen, you can choose a pointer and even draw on the Zoom. Yeah. Esther, gonna pop in and tell us what to do? Chicken.
I don't know what to do, but I just know the tab you were on earlier had the reach number. I don't know what tab it was. I just noticed it.
I mean, because that's going to show you, but there's not the page.
Yeah, we're missing some analytics. So like here, we'll work on this and get back to you more.
Yeah, because it's not working. It's not loading.
Social Media Analytics 101 or 102. So let me pray us out of here, and thank you, Lou again. It's just been 2 weeks with Lee, sorry, for being here for us. And get rid of the share screen so we can all see each other's lovely faces. Let me pray, and then if you guys want to have a little chat, I'm going to meet with somebody. I'll put myself on mute, and I might come back. But if you want to take just a minute, and literally just a minute, to say who you are, what's going on in your life. I know Melanie has some amazing things in the works that I still even need to catch up with. And Judy, we're so glad to see you here today. And we will answer your question one way or another. I give you my guarantee on that. So let me pray for us. Father God, thank you. Thank you for the chaos of social media that comes together in a non-chaotic way, in a clearer way when we actually start looking at the numbers. We're so afraid of numbers, Lord, but you care about them. You care how many hairs are on the tops of our heads, so you must care about how many friends we have and how many likes we're getting in comments and shares as well. So help us to be obedient to you every step of the way. Give us some more insights as we go forward, especially helping us to answer Judy's question in a more concrete way. As we interact on social media, we thank you for that tool, Lord. We just want to be obedient to you and use it wisely. I thank you for NACWE Sisters. I do not want to be an entrepreneur by myself. And so thank you, Lord, for every one of these women, for the members, for the 12,000 fans, for new ventures and things we're getting ready to do. And may you shower a blessing on everyone who is in here today and who will listen to this recording later, especially on Lou, as she's taken the time to present and do all this research for us. We ask for your blessings, Lord, and we pray that we please you in every step that we take. And ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. I'm going to mute me if you want to chat a minute, Lou, and then
Yeah. You're mute. Okay.